So, while I've been catching up on my cozy murder shows, I came across another one called Bookish that, at the time of making this video, has only recently come out. It's a 6-episode series. Each episode is an hour long, and it's on Alibi in the UK. Not sure where it is internationally. I'm sure it's available on something like BritBox in America. It primarily the brainchild of Mark Gatiss, who you'll know from The League of Gentlemen, which I really like, but also Sherlock and things like that. He plays Gabriel Book, who runs a bookshop, and there's a little joke about the name of the shop with it not having an apostrophe in the name when it says books, because he owns it. It's not that it's books. He lives there in his wife in post-war London, and he has a special mandate or special authority from Winston Churchill to assist with investigations. We don't quite know what the full terms of this mandate are. All you know when you first start watching it is that he's got a letter. It lets him into crime scenes. The police are happy to work with him, and he's got sort of a unique genius in how he looks at these things. You see that he arranges his bookshop in an irregular manner. It's more sort of holistically arranged when it comes to how the books are laid out, as opposed to ABCD or science fiction, non-fiction, etc., normal categories. And he gets very funny if someone messes with his books. He has his wife, Trotty Book, played by Polly Walker, who you discover through the series is his wife and partner, but because of the time that the show is set, I think it's what's called a lavender marriage, which means that he is a homosexual, and you see in very tasteful little snippets that he sort of meets blokes on the street at night. That he's had a romance in the past with a chap, but none of it is massively overt because it couldn't be back then. And I think the way they deal with that is really well done. There's a scene where he's with his partner at a piano, and there's just a sort of shoulder touch and a sit, and just these gestures that I think just sort of elevate this a level up when it comes to those sort of dramatic themes. And a scene early on in the series where he gets propositioned by a chap at night, and he's not quite 100% what's going on, because you've got to remember back then it was a major crime to be gay, and you could be chemically castrated, thrown in prison, all manner of things that I'm probably not fully informed on, but I know it was bad. I think Alan Turing, there's lots of stories about him and what happened to him because he was gay that sort of highlight that to people most commonly. Anyway, the mysteries are set over 2 one-hour episodes, so it's essentially 3 two-hour films. There is a raft of British character actors in there. You will see them and you'll go, oh look, he's in it. You got, the likes of Danny Mays and that, Mark Bentham. They just pop up in it, and I do wonder if that's because they know who's involved in this show, and I think, well, no, I'm not going to hold out for a bigger role. I'm happy to be part of this show, and you get that feeling. It's fully cohesive. I think it's got an element of fun that goes beyond shows such as, say, Endeavour, which follow a similar format. I like the Book character. He's also got a young lad straight out of prison called Jack, who he takes on to work for him. There's a bit of a mystery behind why he works for him and why he took him in that gets revealed little by little as the show goes on. There's also a young girl called Nora, who's a bit of a tomboy, that also works for him, and there's obviously potential for some sort of relationship with Jack there, but ultimately they don't go down the cheesy route of the pushing that too hard in the first series, which I think is great, but she often gets drawn into assisting on the investigations and that. And the mystery is that they have nice flows to them, because the trouble with these 2-episode 2-hour shows is that you can get a lot of dead time in them, and you feel like it's suddenly all wrapped up in the last 10 minutes. When with this series, you feel like there are clues and that you could start putting the mysteries together yourself, and the endings don't always have the results you might think. There's a lot of poisonings, which I don't know if that's a tip of the hat to Agatha Christie, because she liked to poison him in her stories. But there's a good one on that's set around a film set and that had an ending that I sort of half guessed, but didn't fully get, which was quite pleasing, because you think, oh, I'm clever enough to get a bit of it, but there's still a little bit of surprise left in it. And it's not all just it's not like some of these shows where you wouldn't have a chance of working out who the murderer was. You just get told at the end they did it, which is a bit like that David Mitchell one that recently came out, Ludwig, where there was not a chance in hell that you were going to guess who the murderer was, other than it might be the guest star. Either they were going to be the victim or they were going to be the murderer. But in this, they've got enough people littered throughout it that it sort of muddies the water for you. And you have multiple different people doing multiple different things, such as something with Danny May's character, where he's plays this butcher. And I thought he was just going to be the local butcher, and then he turns out to be a bit more as the story progresses. But he's not the ultimate end game in it, which is quite good. There's lots of little subplots in it. Totally worth watching if you can get the Alibi channel. I imagine this is going to turn up elsewhere, either on one of the streaming platforms, sort of like I can't think what they're called now. They keep changing their names, but like You and whatever, the You streaming network in the UK. If it's still called that at the time of doing this video, it keeps changing. It used to be the UK TV lot. Or Dave, or whatever it is now. In America, it's probably on BritBox, like I said. Did you think it's worth watching? Did you enjoy it? Let me know. I'm looking forward to there being a second series. I binged through the first series and was happy to do it. I watched it like movies. I watched it as 3 2-hour movies. I think it's one of the best recent releases if you like the cozy murder mystery with a little bit more intelligence and a little bit more class than you might necessarily get in your sort of standard lunchtime fare.